In 1978, I approached my father-in-law about becoming his business partner in a small dealership in St. James, Missouri. And then in 1986, I had the privilege of being appointed the dealer principal of the business. However, the story begins in 1954 when a man who built this place on strong values, integrity, service, and a commitment to quality, his name is Guy Hutcheson.
He was my dad, and he was very interested in how his family did, how each of us was. He didn't put the business ahead of his family, but we all worked together. And as a businessman, he was ethical to the core. He cared about his customers, and he cared about the people that worked for him, and he cared about each one of them and what their needs might be, and he paid attention.
Hutch was just a good guy and a straight shooter. He wasn't a warm and fuzzy guy, kind of pat you on the back guy, but you couldn't help but like him.
His motivations were just to provide a place where people could have their car needs met, and whatever they needed, he would try to provide it for them.
Well, kind of the interesting thing about Hutch is that he was a mortician by trade and had gone to mortician school. And when World War II came, that's what he did during World War II. And after having to do that in World War II, he didn't want to do it any longer. So when he came home from the war, he went into business with his brother-in-law, who was Wilford Crow, and Wilford and Barry owned the Ford store in Licking, Missouri. And Hutch was a partner in that dealership and spoke with the Ford people and wanted to open his own store, and he had three choices. He had the choice of Dixon, Missouri, Allenton, Missouri, where there used to be a Ford dealership, but there is no longer, and St. James. And he chose St. James. Why he chose St. James, I'm not sure, but you don't have to look too far at this community or talk to the people in it to get a good reason for why he chose St. James.
We had to all start over again, and it was kind of hard. I still remember I was in the second grade in 1954. I hated it, but it didn't take too long till I got used to it and made friends, some of whom I still have today, by the way.
His influence on me in particular probably pertains to his honesty in dealing openly and straightforward with people. And he believed in servicing what you sold. He believed that if somebody had a problem, that you should take care of it whenever they came to you, whenever that at that particular juncture. I asked Susan, I said, do you think your father would be interested in a business partner? And she said, I don't know, call him and ask. So I did, and he was tickled to death. So as a result, we packed up and moved our family in 1978 from Kansas City, Missouri to St. James. Whenever I went to work for my father-in-law, I took a cut and pay about in half of what I was making in the construction business. But after about 6 months, I kind of settled in and got my feet on the ground and started to feel more comfortable in selling cars and working behind the parts counter and working behind the service counter. As a result, that's when things started to blossom somewhat, and I became more comfortable in the business, and it's been a long road to hoe since those days. But they were fun days as well. For me, and because I was so committed to try to make it work and make it grow.
Butch has done an excellent job handling this dealership. I mean, I don't think anybody could have done a better job. Really, I'm serious about that.
It was in 1989 we purchased the ground, and then it was a matter of trying to put a team together that we felt comfortable with to make the move. It was important to me that we had the right people in place to move over across the highway. I can think of two people in particular that are deceased that had prominent roles, but yet they didn't stay with the company the way Harold Kaufman has.
Butch is definitely a visionary, and he saw what could happen as we came across from old 66 to 44 when he bought the property, and his vision was to grow the business.
Probably the most influential part of the decision to move over here was the people that worked at the dealership at that time. We had hired Gene Stone, who had been the general sales manager at Denny Ford in Rolla, Missouri, whenever Denny was still in business. And I called him and he went to work for us. I felt that he could help us establish a sales department that would be more effective than what we currently had.
Well, it takes quite a vision to be able to come out and purchase the property knowing that you want to build there. It was a huge step for the family. As a business owner, you have to constantly be looking into the future and trying to see where you're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years and how you need to adapt, because that's the biggest thing with business. You're always in a constant state of change, and you either learn to adapt or you fall to the wayside. And we choose to adapt and continue to grow.
I think I-44 and the corridor has been a big part of the success that we've experienced because of the exposure. In 1954, when Guy opened the old dealership, he was on Route 66 and there was no I-44. So he had that traffic going right past the old dealership in 1954. However, about 1958, the interstate was built and all that traffic moved right in front of his business to where we're at right now.
We have to make things on 44 grow and boom and take care of our community and take care of our customers. And it's pretty easy when you see those two things happening.
We try to be involved in a lot of community things that are going on, like for example the Fall Festival. We always have someone there buying cows and pigs and whatever the FFA is selling. We do that every year. And we also do the Shop with a Cop for the local kids. I especially like that program because it helps the kids that need help, and it also exposes them to a nice policeman. They don't have to be afraid. And we also do the wreaths across America, where we put the wreaths over at the soldiers' home and for each grave that's there, and I think that's a good thing too. There are a lot of things we do, but those are 3 things that I can think of right now.
It was a lot of fun for me growing up around Hutcheson Ford. You know, as soon as school would get out, I'd go straight to the dealership. The older I got, you know, once I got my driver's license and I was able to drive, then I was able to help Dad. You know, maybe he needed parts out of St. Louis. A lot of times he'd send me into St. Louis to Mendenhall Engine Rebuilders to get an engine that we were putting in a vehicle. And so I'd run and go do that. He'd buy cars at Springfield or St. Louis Auto Auction and need me to get a group of guys to go get those vehicles and drive them back. So I never knew what I was going to be doing, but I was always doing something and just trying to help out.
When did you realize that Mike would be the right person to lead the dealership?
You know, there was never a point in time that I realized it. I just always knew that it was going to happen. The thing that has shocked me and surprised me more than anything is how well he's taken to it and the kind of job that he's done. If he has a fault, it may be that he doesn't know how to tell anybody no. But he's done a great job, and I'm really pleased that things are going as well as they are for the store at this point in time.
The values that Guy started with this was taking care of people. He wanted to make sure that their needs were met. I see that continue with Butch. He wants to make sure our customers' needs are met, but he also wants to make sure the employees' needs are met and our community. And I think today Mike sees the same thing. Mike knows that we are nothing without our customers, we're nothing without our employees, and we have to continue to build on those two things.
Well, it's really important to me that it stay family owned. There have been a couple of times back when we were running the dealership, that we thought about bringing someone in, and we never did. We just kept it family. And I really think that's important because, well, number one, we've got a pretty neat family, and nobody's afraid to work hard, and they all do. And I can't imagine it being sold to anybody else.
Well, it goes back to our family values and the fact that we are a family-owned business, and we've been able to continue to pass the torch on and continue to grow the business. Not only that, it's just our customer base. So we've been able to grow with our customers. Our business has grown not only with the family, but with our customer base as well. Now you're selling vehicles to their kids, so on and so forth. So it's been fun to see the whole thing just grow.
The most important thing that I want to pass along is not to forget about the little people. Our customers that struggle and aren't financially sound, as well as our employees who may struggle financially. And I want to make sure that we always have a heart for those kind of people, regardless of anything else that we do.
With the inception of the internet, it's been able to take our business from not only a 5 to 6 county wide radius, we've actually gone national/global. You know, it's hard to believe that we've shipped a Super Duty truck to Spain. It's hard to believe that we've shipped a Super Duty truck to Alaska, but it's not what we do, it's how we do it.
What does being nominated as Time Dealer of the Year mean to you?
Well, the Time Dealer of the Year was a phenomenal accolade because it's something that you're nominated by all the dealers across the state of Missouri. It's not just Ford dealers only. So I took a lot of pride in that, and being able to go to Dallas, Texas and represent the state of Missouri was really humbling. It takes a village, and everybody has a responsibility and a job. But all the employees understand the vision of the dealership, and they work hard to make it the best customer experience it can possibly be. We just want to continue to grow the business and have something that we can all be proud of, not only as employees but as customers as well. And I think that's what draws our customers back to Hutcheson Ford and why we have such a strong repeat customer base.
It's always interesting, and it's always exciting for me to see what my children do next and my grandchildren. And I think it's going to be interesting to see that they take up the values that they've been taught and see that they come to life.
We just do put a high priority on taking care of our employees and our customers. And also, my latest great-grandson is named Hutch. So how can you go wrong with that?
I think that the legacy that we've built here at Hutcheson Ford, and I see the opportunity for our kids to continue that legacy, is very important. Rodney, Drew, and Trey all being here and all being able to be raised in that legacy, they know what's important. They know how to take care of customers, and they know that that's one of the most important parts, but they also know how to take care of our employees. I think that beat is probably in my heart as strong as the customer point, because I think without our employees, we can't take care of our customers. The one thing that I rely on, and as does the whole group of us, is our faith. Our faith is probably one of the largest things that we rely on daily here. But that foundation and that growth has to be that you take care of your employees and you take care of your customers. You know, you want to make sure that you instill values that will carry on through the generations, and I think we have.
Here at Hutcheson Ford, we're more than family. We have a true commitment to our community. And that's a true testament to why at Hutcheson Ford, it's not what we do, it's how we do it.